Tuesday edition, September 6th, hot ice. Quick, I don't know, say moment of silence, but pour one out for our teacher audience for the past 3 months who was able to watch us every day at 11:30 without a care in the world. And now they're battling sixth grade science or, kindergarten math. Our thoughts are with you. Catch us maybe when you get home from work at like 3, 4 o'clock. Always a down day. Fits it's raining. Black Tuesday, one of the worst days of the year. But we're loaded with baseball. We're loaded with playoff baseball coming up, football on the horizon. Like, as you get older, summer doesn't really exist as it is. But I am thinking of the teachers who did have the summer off. So my thoughts and prayers are with you. Headlines. Carl's got a big one. We're going
huge.
We're going right to Carl.
Huge. Guys, Saturday night this happened, and all I could think about was getting on hot ice with you guys and chopping it up. Obviously, the Mets and the Braves are in a dogfight for the NL East. Obviously, we have major Mets representation throughout the office. And on Saturday night, there was a certain pitching matchup that a lot of people who follow hot ice probably went to the bank. Probably did. I'm not saying what happened when they went to the bank, but it's the type of matchup you just go to the bank and something's going to happen. It's Patrick Corbin taking the mound against a certain Max Scherzer in Citi Field. Patrick Corbin, fellas, Patrick, we've made so much money this season off Patrick Corbin, overs, fading the nets. I'm just going to read this line to you. This is Patrick Corbin going into the game with a 6.56 ERA, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, shuts down Max Scherzer, shuts down the Mets. The Mets then show up the next day, get their asses kicked by the Nats. And a lot of people in Mets world are wondering if Patrick Corbin has ruined the Mets season based on how much shit we've talked about him. Big game for the Mets tonight, guys. I cannot say that enough.
Let me tell you something. That night when I was like, take the Mets team total, take the Mets over, we put 6 of them in my own hit parade. And I was at Citi Field watching Patrick Corbin just put his head down and watch another ball go in the gap, watch another one go in the fence. That seems like a long time ago because Saturday, all the money you went against him fading, he probably made it back for you on Saturday. And I'll be honest, like you said, Carl, too, like we were knees deep in football, so I didn't even give out anything Saturday. I was watching what was going on. I think I missed Zac Gallen's start, which upset me either Friday night or Saturday. We'll get to him. But I'm like, you know what? I'll throw a quick parlay in here. Like, all right, Mets 1.5. Mets Marte to get a hit. Scherzer strikeouts. I'm like, no doubt about it. And then you watch and you're like, bro, what's going on here? And then Scherzer leaves. Like, horrific loss. It's gonna come down to the end of it. It really is. I know we talk Mets. You know, when the Yankees are now like back in breathing room. With the Rays, that's a tight fight. Yeah, I mean, you didn't completely lose the 3 like I thought you would. That could have been a whole disaster. But listen, Buck has been saying you're a tough guy. Like, we're supposed to be tough guys. We'll see what they're made of, because if they lose the division, or if they lose the division by 4 or 5 games and completely fall in September, we knew, all right, you know what, we got our hopes up. They weren't as tough as we thought. If they win and they get to go, like, all right, everything we thought about them, tough guys, let's go. Either way, it's going to be enjoyable. I think it's enjoyable when you see somebody's back against the wall, especially these guys, and a baseball lifer like Buck. So you're right. Corbin got, what was he, 350, 375?
Yeah, I think it was over 300.
That's insane. It's insane. That was an all-timer. Crazy. Ev, what do you think? It's the Braves division win, right? The Mets are still minus 250. The Mets are still.
No, it's still a coin flip. I mean, it was just funny kind of be on the Saturday Night College Football stream, and I've been noted Braves fan, big team of that, being like, the Mets is down 6-1 with Corbin, which in my mind that's kind of going for me. While I'm in a battle with Chief, we got Ohio State, Notre Dame on. That's kind of going in one ear out the other for me, but it's getting stored back there in some way. But listen, it's Mets fans are just like overly pessimistic. I mean, you're in a dogfight. It's been back and forth. You had the edge for a little bit. Now they just threw a big blow. You got up on the 7 count. Punch back. Like it's gonna be a heavyweight fight. 2 very good teams, 2 teams that I think are capable of winning a World Series. So I mean, what do we got? We got how many regular season games we got back? Like 25.
Yep, and they're all against trash. So it's like
that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been hearing about from the Mets the last few weeks. Is that they end the season with like, what is it, like now it's Pirates. They got like Nats again or something. They got a bunch of like if the Mets handle their business, they should win the division.
Yeah, we needed today as a rain out. Oh, I'm sorry, yesterday as a rain out. They needed that. Look, I'm friends with him, well, two parts. Frank is crazy, but he does say the right things. He's like, our team is 0 for 6,000. Like, he exaggerates the stats, but what I will say, all the love I was given, like, hey, we didn't disrupt the locker room, we didn't disrupt the clubhouse, and like Vogelback's been pretty good, Nyquin's been pretty good. They're not really as good. Darren Ruff has been horrific. Like, the shine has worn off of those guys. And listen, I like the guy, but there has been a nickname that has now emerged from my father for Vogelback.
Oh, no.
Vogelbeast.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's not good. Yeah, it's not good. He was never against them.
Bad.
Yeah, it's not good. So, listen, Danny, I'm on
you
your side. You got to come
so fast.
You got to shut this guy up and hit a couple of home runs. But, yeah, I mean, Carl, you kind of started. It's a great point. Like, what do you make of it? If you had to guess, like, it's 250. Should it be a pick'em? Because the Braves are playing a trash schedule too.
I think the Braves schedule is not as hot or not as easy as the Mets. I do not like the price at all. I do think there's major value on the Braves here because it's like just the way you see the Mets play in 2 games in a row against the Nationals. It's not necessarily that they're bad teams are going to roll through them as much. My big takeaway is like, this is the game of baseball. And you come into these situations where you have a team where there's no pressure is a completely different mindset for a lot of these players. I wrote a blog this morning about a lot of stuff around the league, but one big storyline was like Juan Soto compared to the guy who's filling in for Juan Soto in the Nationals. Well, the guy who's filling in for Juan Soto, his name is Joey Meneses. He's 30 years old, just got to the big league, spent like a decade in Japan, has over 5,500 career professional plate appearances, finally gets a chance in the big leagues because Soto's out with the Padres. He's got an OPS over 1,000, and people are like, oh, look how this guy sucks and all this stuff. The difference between amazing and everyday big leaguer is very, very small. And so these are quick moments for Mets fans to be like, holy shit, overreact. I wouldn't look at the rest of the schedule and say it's all cupcake. These are games you should win. But like a doubleheader, what's it, an 11:30 Central start for the Mets today? After getting rained out yesterday in Pittsburgh, this is going to be a challenge for them to come out and show up with some enthusiasm because the Pirates are playing with house money. So I would – my big takeaway is don't let the Corbin the Patrick Corbin thing kill you inside if you're a Mets fan. At the same time, though, use it, refocus every game one day at a time and stuff. It's hard. It's very hard this time of the year.
For sure. Shout out to our boy, like I said, Zac Gallen, 6th consecutive scoreless start. He's on a 41 1/3 innings scoreless streak. The Diamondbacks are they fight every day, and this guy is a stud. If they can put some stuff around them, they got some young guys they're building around them. Him and Kelly, like, I'm rooting for the Diamondbacks to be a team out west, and especially, with all the shit with the Padres, like they're the paper tigers. We talked about it. They got a 2-game lead in the wild card. Like, they might not even make the playoffs this year. They didn't make it last year. Like, at what point do you look at the Padres and be like, you know what, you guys are frauds? So just shout out to the Diamondbacks. We've always rooted for the Diamondbacks.
Zac Gallen is a .61 ERA in the second half. Something
it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like, you start to look. I know Alcantara's like been great, but he's on a shit team too. Like, at what point do we start looking at Gallen, who's just been
Alcantara's been struggling a little bit as of late as well.
Yeah, like his
last few haven't been like I know that I saw a stat. I think his last maybe it was his last 4 or 5, 6 starts. He's got like a 4 ERA, which it's crazy how the standard we hold him to, where him having a 4 ERA over like a 5-game stretch is bad. He's that good, but Gallen's just been otherworldly.
Credit to Gallen. Now he's up to 13-1. He's behind Fried and Urias, so you need those two to kind of fade out too. But like, if Zac Gallen finishes runner-up in the Cy Young, like, it's unbelievable. Like, good for
If they were even like competing for a wild card spot, I think we're like right there, like in the mix. He'd potentially be the favorite. I mean,
dude, if Gallen finishes with a strong September, I would give him the Cy Young nod over Sandy. Just looking at these numbers, because they're. I mean, we're talking about 0.05 of a decimal point on the ERA. Alcantara's got more innings. That's why if Zac Gallen throws together a couple
Mhm.
7-inning starts to close the year, just the inning count is probably what would get Alcantara over. And he has the complete game. He has that signature complete game against the Dodgers after they roughed him up. And a lot of sports writers have been talking about him all year as like the front runner, slam dunk, Cy Young. So a lot of people are going to want to come back and change their votes for a guy. Zac Gallen, these people aren't watching. I know he's got the great streak. Like now
right.
the Nats, like
Absolutely.
it took 41 and a third scoreless for Zac Gallen to become a fucking national story this year, which is crazy.
Exactly. Right. And Arenado lost an MVP, or was it Arenado? Or Matt Holliday to Jimmy Rollins because he played for the Rockies. Like, these guys lose. It's just how it goes. And you talked about it too. Like, they've already made up their mind of who's going to win it. So, quick 2 injury notes, and we'll get to the kind of the debate. McClanahan's on the 15-day DL for the Rays, and Scherzer said he's fine. He's going to make his next start after being yanked after 65 pitches. Here's the one we talked about voting, so it's kind of a perfect segue. Should Judge be the unanimous MVP in the AL?
Should he be? Yes. Will he be? Absolutely not. Should he be?
Right. There's always
Yes.
going to be one, right?
Should he be? Yes, because the Yankees are in last place without Aaron Judge. I fucking said it. I don't care.
And just to sell this, obviously there's many selling points at the pitch you have for Ohtani. And when you throw those numbers out, where like, oh, like he's like 4th in the AL in home runs and 5th in RBIs. But the people like to say that gap in home runs is like 25, 24, and that gap in RBIs is like 35. So let's not act like it's 1st and 4th, but it's a huge gap in production. Also, his batting average, I believe, is like 30 plus points higher as well. So the hitting numbers are significantly higher. They're not close.
I mean, you also took, like, it's a Yankees lineup, and I know they're missing some guys, but a huge series against the Rays. Did he score every run for you guys the other day series?
He has literally been putting the team on his back, literally on his back. No one's hitting. Like, the lineups we're putting out literally make me sick to my stomach. It's atrocious. Like, with like Donaldson and IKF and fucking, it's just Hicks. It's just awful. Like, the amount of money we've spent to have these guys batting like 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. It literally makes me want to throw up when I see the fucking card.
It's crazy.
It's not great. I want to point this out with Judge quick, just context, because you talk about the gap. Aaron Judge currently leads all of Major League Baseball in runs scored, home runs, OPS, OPS plus, weighted runs created plus, isolated power, weighted on base, expected on base average, and batting. I believe I shouldn't say BABIP, but I believe it's BABIP. So, but there's like 10 categories. We're calling this like one of the greatest offensive seasons of all time, and then RBIs people are like, Shohei.
Yeah, and the icing on the cake too is Ev, from watching him and Carl watching him every day. Though he loses a little points because he's a defense. He must be a defensive liability, right? Like, he doesn't have a fucking cannon for an arm and throws out 2 guys a week from home plate, right? Exactly.
He's one of the best outfielders in the game.
And they have him out of position, right? Isn't he mostly playing? Like, haven't they mostly use him in center?
We've kind of, a lot more than we have in the past. And he's done a great job with it.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
He's your classic long strider. But he runs extremely well. He literally gets to everything. He makes exceptional catches, diving catches, robbing home runs against the wall. He's a legit he's 5-tool as 5-tool gets.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if there was any doubt, it's, I know offense carries the MVP. Go look at his defense as well. He's a horse. He hasn't missed any games.
And average, he's batting 300. Like,
exactly.
It's not like he's hitting 250 with power numbers. He's legitimately hitting for average.
That's unheard of for a power hitter. It's crazy. The hit parade is 16 units flat. We crushed August. We were plus 10 flat in August. We had, I think we went 2 out of 3 in our losses that were close. We only had the 3 losses. So, yeah, I screwed up with Jake McCarthy. That was September. Jordan Alvarez, Aaron Judge, and Adley Rutschman. We missed on the 3, but the other 2 got hits that night. So we've been dialed into the hit parade. I thought this was going to be minus money based on how locked in all these guys are, but it's plus 190. We'll get you back towards 18. I'm putting in Paul Goldschmidt. He's been unbelievable with the Cardinals. Paul Goldschmidt's going to get a hit tonight. Ev, who are you throwing in?
I didn't see. Did they put in Judge for
yes.
They
put in Swanson because of the rain out. Swanson.
Oh yeah, so I went with Plan B because of the potential rain. It is, for people that are in New York, it is a shitstorm outside right now. It's awful.
Yeah, it's bad.
But we're going with Dansby. This is bread and butter right now. The guy's hot. He's been good to me. Going back to the well.
Hey, speaking of wells, I'm right there. Altuve, didn't have him last week because they were either off or they were playing a day game. He's back tonight with a 7-10 start. If I get a chance to throw Altuve in a hit parade, at this point we're taking it.
We have used Jose Altuve in 11 hit parades. He's 9-2. So
beautiful.
He's a fucking MVP. I think he's on a streak of his last 6 in a row, too.
He had a hit last night.
Yeah, that's plus 190. Very quick. We talked about the dogs. I will go to the well with the Arizona Diamondbacks plus 145. They've been the best dog to us. The Padres are 0-5 in their last 5 home games on the run line. That means they'll lose as a favorite or play a close game for you. I don't know their exact record in those games, but I know they're 0-5 against the run line. So that tells me close game or a loss as a favorite. Perfect spot here. The Diamondbacks are also 8-2 in their last 10 on the money line. Musgrove's been great, but he's struggled a little bit. There's been a ton of times where I back him and he just doesn't look good. He can give up runs for you. He pitches for the strikeouts. Like, try to put the ball in play, see what you can do. I'm going with the Diamondbacks plus 145. I wouldn't be shocked if the three of us have it all together, the way the Diamondbacks have been going. Carl's got a bigger smirk. Ev's playing poker face. I'm going to Carl. Carl, what do you got?
Ah, man, dog of the day. I'm also going to take the baby backs plus 145. It's too easy. Merrill Kelly. The only reason people aren't talking about Merrill Kelly as much in the second half because Zac Gallen stole the headlines with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Merrill Kelly, just a solid pitching prospect out of Arizona State, accelerated quickly through the minor leagues. Doesn't have the necessarily overpowering stuff you think of when I'm about to tell you these numbers. He just pitches all around the strike zone, commands his stuff. Obviously, filthy enough to get swings and misses. He's pitched to a 1.99 ERA in the second half. He's made 8 starts. The team's 4-4 in those starts. He's 3-0 as a pitcher, though. 54 and a third, 37 hits, and he's holding opposing hitters to a 195, 246, 284 slug. Merrill Kelly, if you see his name as a dog like plus 145 today, tomorrow, and moving into the future with the baby backs, jump on this guy, Merrill Kelly.
I also kind of like the Diamondbacks to spoil the Padres as well. We've talked about it. They're right there in the wild card race, but they're not hanging on by much. If the Brewers showed any fucking life, we're now down 7.5 games to the Cardinals, which we said was crazy. You could have got the Cardinals at plus money. So, whatever. Ev, who are you going with the dog?
I'm genuinely ashamed of myself that I didn't make this because they were literally one of the 2 teams I was choosing between. I went with just a little more juice on that plus money. I took the Rockies at home today. I'm just not crazy about the Brewers. I've said it all year. I've said it kind of the last couple of years. I'm just not a Brewers believer. I feel like they tend to lose weird games like this. They've done it a few times on the road to these bad teams, even with like guys like Woodruff on the mound. I like it's the Rockies plus like 165. They hit way better at home. And the total's 11. Even considering that Woodruff's on the mound, I think that he's going to get hit around a little bit. So I'm going to take a shot at the Rockies.
Yeah, I like that as well. Best bets. Carl, you lead us off. Best bet.
This one was tough because there's a couple plays I do very much like, but they're just too juicy for me. Like a lot of minus 150, minus 160 on the board. So I'm going to take the Orioles are in a must-win game, but I'm taking the Blue Jays here minus 108, and they're just so freaking hot. And Bo Bichette's hitting 545 over his last week. And it's like you're seeing the Orioles they're seeing the Blue Jays start to play to their potential when they broke out in April and they started the season. It's like, this is a team that can get so freaking hot. They're nasty over their last like 10, 15. And they're in a position where not only are they trying to like run away with their spot in the wild card, they're actually like in a spot I think they're 6 back of the Yankees and playing very good baseball. So the momentum in the Blue Jays clubhouse is going one way, where the Orioles are coming in today. It is must win, do or die for the Orioles with a very young team that's milked everything they can. This is a combination of the Blue Jays playing well, but it's also a spot where I think some of this pressure with the Orioles, where the Blue Jays, they're just so free and easy right now. So minus 108, it's a pick 'em, but I do think there's like a bigger soft edge to the Blue Jays here. So I'm identifying some value there.
You know what I equate it to a little bit is like a team in basketball down 25 and makes that major comeback, and now there's 4 minutes left in the fourth, and they tied it, and they spend all that energy coming back, and they lose the game by 10. It's like a deflation of like, all right, let's catch our breath, and the other team like goes and puts it back on them. The Orioles getting all the way to this race is a great thing, and they still could make it, but they spend all this energy getting there. I'm wondering if they're just emotionally distraught. They've won some crazy ones, like deflated, I should say, emotionally deflated. So it's a good thing to keep an eye on. And the Blue Jays are riding high, so I like that a little bit. Ev, which way you going best bet?
So actually, I was kind of in the same boat as Carl, but I decided to actually pull the trigger on one of these. They're in like the 140, 145 range minus. I'm going with the Mariners tonight. Logan
I
Gilbert on the
wanted to.
mound.
My
One of
runner-up.
they've been one of my he's been one of my favorite pitchers to bet this year. Pitching really well, big long guy, throws hard stuff. They're playing the White Sox who even though they picked up a good one yesterday, they're playing a little better, I guess. I've been fading them. I like this Mariners team, especially on the West Coast. Always kind of tough for those East Coast, Midwest teams to go out west. I just think it's a good spot for them. They're playing really good baseball. You give me the Mariners.
Carl, we talked about Cease. It's now Verlander minus 143, Cease minus 103 for the Cy Young. So that plus sign, take a look at these awards.
That changed quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wow.
Definitely. I'm my best bet. I'm going against maybe the hottest team in baseball in the fucking Washington Nationals, who shut out the Cardinals yesterday 6-0. Give me the Cardinals over 4.5 runs minus 106. Lose yesterday 6-0. Prior to that, they were 17-4. It's one of the hottest teams in baseball. We talk about how far they've put this team in the rear view in the Brewers. They might win the division by 10 to 12 games. They're just cruising. They're playing really well. They got Pablo Espino on the mound for the Washington Nationals with a 4.2 ERA and 0-6. He's given up a home run in 7 of his last 10 starts. We got Goldschmidt in the hit parade. We've seen guys go deep in the hit parade. This guy gives up home runs. I would sprinkle Goldie to take a home run. I think the Cardinals come back with a vengeance here, veteran crew, and show what they can do. They lose on Labor Day. Maybe they're out over the weekend. It is what it is. I think they smash the Nationals today. Smash. So I'm going with the Cardinals.
You want to hear a crazy sound? So obviously with a 6
over 4.5 runs. Yeah.
Anibal Sanchez pitched yesterday. Obviously he threw a shutout. They're 5-0 Anibal Sanchez's last 5 starts.
That's
unbelievable.
Insane. It's amazing he's still cashing checks, dude. I remember hearing his name in like 2008. A friend of mine's girlfriend's roommate was like, "Oh yeah, I fooled around with him down in Florida." This is like 2007. They're like, "Yeah, he's a hot prospect." I'm like, all right, I filed that name away. Then he throws the no-hitter. He's on a million
on
teams.
The Tigers.
If you told me in 2022 I'm still watching Anibal Sanchez, I would have cashed the no.
And he's winning every start he's in.
Yeah, it's crazy. And also the Nationals, like you took, so their rotation went Corbin, maybe they mixed something in between, but Corbin, Sanchez, and now
it's
Pablo
Josiah Gray.
Espino. Jesus. Like, Carl, you get 5 guys in your men's league to have a better rotation than these guys?
Maybe better stuff. It's funny you say that. You bring up Anibal Sanchez. I saw him pitch against the Cubs back in, I think it was like July or early August. And I had, in the same respect, I was like, Anibal Sanchez is pitching for the Nats.
Crazy.
Now, when you go to big league games, especially when you're a little kid, you're like, man, it doesn't look like you're throwing that hard from the stands, right? You're just like, you see it on TV, you're like, it doesn't look. And then as you get older, you realize like these guys are absolutely pumping shed. And then you get to an age where you could tell, hey, that reliever's throwing really hard. Like obviously they got the fucking radar guns in the stadium, but like you get older, you have a better sense. Anibal Sanchez was pitching against the Cubs, and I was legitimately sitting in my seat, row 1, section 308, with my jaw on the fucking concourse because I could not believe how slow Anibal Sanchez was pitching. 85, 86, 87, caught fastballs, was just grinding, pitched well enough. Good to see he's won his last 5 starts. We like Anibal Sanchez.
We do. Listen, he's going to have a long career as a batting practice pitcher whenever he does decide to hang it up. So him and Corbin will be making a lot of money. You're talking about getting a guy out of a slump and putting it over where he wants to hit it and get their confidence back. They could do it with the best of them.
But if his next start falls on a Tuesday, Thursday, he'll be a dog of the day.
All right. No, listen, that stat is worth looking at. It's crazy. So, all right, that's hot ice. Go bet the hit parade. We are, again, riding high. There's a lot of money to be made
16
with baseball.
units.
16 units on hit parade. We're all looking forward to it. So take it easy.